In at least 135 countries, solar and wind now generate more electricity than coal. And if we look at the top 3 emitters, it might surprise you that the US is the one where wind and solar have overtaken coal. So next, India and China are going to decarbonize and the whole world will be happy, right? Maybe not. In November last year, the IEA updated its predictions with a current policy scenario, stating that based on current policies, oil, coal and gas might remain the biggest energy sources for years to come, which would be great for the fossil fuel industry and very, very bad for the rest of life on Earth. In this video, we're going to zoom in on one topic: waste. Critics of renewables often point out that waste is one of the big drawbacks of solar and wind. This strategy is called whataboutism. Yeah, solar creates green energy, but what about all the waste? For example, look at this article by the fossil fuel think tank Mackinac. And before we discredit that, let's face the facts. Reports actually show that solar energy could generate between 70 and 250 million tons of waste by 2050.
But by 2050, it's expected to grow up to 78 million metric tons. That would be more than 200 Empire State Buildings of old solar panels.
And I know that sounds like a lot, but how bad is it really? Are there any solutions? Spoiler, yes there are. And have you ever wondered how much waste fossil fuels generate? Last month, our first video got more than 10,000 views, and we now have more than 500 subscribers. So, to all the new viewers of the channel, welcome. We are Biosphere Solar, and we're developing a fully modular solar panel and bringing it to the industry open source. We already made multiple videos explaining why solar is so difficult to recycle, but here's the quick recap. Solar panels are made with 2 glass sheets with the cells in between, and all of that is sandwiched together with a glue layer usually made of EVA. EVA is cheap and gives solar panels a 25-year lifetime, but it is incredibly difficult to recycle. There are a lot of companies working on new ways to recycle these type of solar panels, but in almost all cases, the recycling is more expensive than the value of the materials that you get out. That means in most countries around the world, solar panels are currently being landfilled, except in those countries that have specific regulations outlawing this practice. But even in those cases, what is called recycling often really means downcycling into low-grade materials or incineration. And that means everywhere in the world we have a loss of critical raw materials like high-purity silicon and silver and copper, plus we have toxic materials like lead ending up in landfills. And that is why this 70 to 250 million tons of solar waste is a big problem. So, what's the solution? Before we tell you about that, let's look at how much waste would be generated if we don't phase out fossil fuels. Time to engage in some whataboutism of our own. Last year, a study was published that compares this amount of solar waste to other types of waste by 2050, and it really put things in perspective for me. Especially the difference between solar waste and coal waste was so big that I think even a graph wouldn't really do it justice. So we thought we'd go outside and put some actual ash next to a bit of solar waste and show you what that looks like side by side. What really surprised me is that if we don't decarbonize, the amount of toxic ash that is generated by burning coal might be 300 to 800 times bigger than the amount of solar waste that we're currently looking at. And the oil industry generates a waste called oily sludge, which might be 2 to 5 times bigger than solar waste by 2050.
And that is on top of all of the carbon emissions and air pollution that coal-fired power plants create.
So the next time somebody says, "What about all the solar waste?" you can give them this fun fact. Alright, enough bashing fossil fuels. Let's get back to clean energy. Although solar energy does generate a lot less waste than oil and coal, I think we should still work on solutions for those millions of tons of waste that are coming our way. And that's what Biosphere Solar is doing. We have developed a solar panel that is very easy to open up and to dismantle because we don't use this sticky EVA layer. By designing the solar panels so that they're easy to open up, we can make the recycling easier and therefore cheaper. But we also look further than just recycling. If we can repair and refurbish the solar panels, we can really keep all the materials in the loop. So people often ask us, what's the catch? Well, we're still scaling up the production, but in theory, the efficiency and the price of these modular solar panels can become just as good as normal solar panels. Our business model works as follows. People can either simply buy the solar panels from us and we arrange the end of life, or if they're a big energy company, we can transform their existing supply chain into a fully circular value chain. So, what's next for solar in 2026? Is the exponential rise of solar going to continue? Most probably yes, and exciting new technologies such as perovskites will see further market introduction. Is that going to cause a shift away from fossil fuels? Well, there are hopeful signs, but the thing is that global electricity demand is still growing faster than the rollout of renewables. That is in part because more and more energy sectors are electrifying, but at the same time, more and more power-hungry technologies such as AI are coming online. So maybe besides just adding more and more renewables, we should also think about using a bit less power. So let's recap. Solar is booming, and although its waste is a problem, we have the solutions, and fossil fuels are creating far more waste than solar. But that doesn't mean that it will be easy for solar. So, what can you do? First of all, talk to your friends, your family, your colleagues about this. Make everyone enthusiastic about solar energy. And second of all, look into options for installing solar, maybe on your house or at your work. And if you're interested in using Biosphere's ReModule technology, you can reach out to us on our website. Also, in the beginning of the video, we talked about wind energy, which also has a big waste problem related to wind turbine blades. But that's not really our expertise, so we'll link you to some great resources down below in the description. In the meantime, Biosphere Solar is going to continue improving solar panels. If you want to follow along on our journey, just subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us, please leave a donation on our GoFundMe page.